Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an incredibly fascinating ecosystem known as Theta Driven. Look, if you've been tracking the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence, you know we're kind of hitting a wall when it comes to predicting how these massive models actually behave. But what Theta Driven is doing is entirely different. They're taking the highly abstract, theoretical math of AI risk and forcing it to literally collide with the very concrete realities of financial markets, corporate liability, and enterprise software. So we're going to unpack their entire philosophy and this massive product network they've built using their very own publications.
Now, I've got to hook your attention right away with this bizarre, provocative question. Are you out of your pixel? This exact phrase is mysteriously scattered all over Theta Driven's public surfaces and blog feeds. It almost sounds like a quirky insider joke, right? But as we're about to see, it speaks to a very literal, very physical way of looking at artificial intelligence. It sets up our core mystery for today. What does it actually mean to bind a digital mind to a physical space? Just take this striking blog title from their June 28th publication. The ghost in the machine has coordinates now. I mean, for years, we've talked about AI as this unpredictable, ethereal ghost. We don't know exactly how it thinks, and honestly, that terrifies us. But Theta Driven completely reframes the whole shebang. They argue that this abstract unpredictability isn't just some philosophical puzzle. It's a locable, tangible threat. It has coordinates. And if it has coordinates, well, it can be tracked, bounded, and most importantly, it can be priced.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for the next few minutes. We'll start with the AI Decidability Crisis, move into pricing the AI market, explore meaning on the chip, and finish up with the Theta-driven ecosystem.
Starting right off with Section 1, the AI Decidability Crisis, the core math problem. To really get what Theta Driven is doing, we first have to wrap our heads around the fundamental mathematical reality they believe sits at the heart of modern AI. They frequently talk about what they call Nishidian AI risk, or just simply AI drift. Now, in economics, Nishidian uncertainty is a risk that is completely unmeasurable. You can't calculate it. Theta Driven applies this directly to AI. Across all their publications, they refer to this drift as a failure of intimacy and the defect nobody can prove. They aren't just saying, oh, AI hallucinates sometimes. No, they're saying the unpredictability of AI is an inherent, unquantifiable defect in the system itself. They're pulling these abstract computer science theories right out of the ivory tower and turning them into urgent, real-world anxieties.
And to understand just how seriously they take this, you only have to look at the sheer volume of their output. In June 2026 alone, they dropped 40 separate, highly detailed posts hammering this concept home. Just look at these titles. Undecidability is the asset. The exclusion is the liability. They are relentlessly building a narrative that AI drift isn't just a software bug you can patch in the next update. It's literally the defining economic and legal reality of our time. You can't just exclude this risk from your company's liability. Pretending it's not there just makes you blind.
Which brings us to their core laboratory specimen thesis, featured prominently on June 30th. If any part is Turing complete, the meaning is undecidable. This is a massive claim. What they're saying is that if an AI system is complex enough to perform any possible calculation, meaning if it's Turing complete, then by definition you absolutely cannot mathematically prove what it will ultimately mean or do before it runs. The complexity itself inherently creates unpredictable meaning, so you can't solve AI safety just by building a better model, because the math itself says the model is undecidable. So, if the math is fundamentally undecidable, what's the move? That brings us to Section 2. Pricing the AI market, turning math into money. Check out this brilliant contrast between Side A and Side B. Most of the tech industry is completely bogged down in Side A, ethics. They're trying to make AI inherently good. But Theta Driven just bluntly says, you can't underwrite a philosopher. Ethics are subjective, which means they are completely uninsurable. Instead, Theta Driven operates entirely on Side B, in lane. They argue we need to just abandon subjective ethics altogether and focus on strict physical operational boundaries. If you force the AI to stay in a rigid lane, you can easily count the frequency of its deviations. And once you have a countable frequency, boom, you suddenly have an insurable risk. This actually leads to one of my absolute favorite metaphors from their June 25th publications. Black-Scholes didn't touch the stock, and we don't touch the model. For anyone who might not know, Black-Scholes is the famous mathematical formula used to price options contracts in the stock market. The absolute genius of Black-Scholes is that it doesn't care at all if a company makes good products or bad products. It just prices the volatility of the stock itself. Theta Driven is saying they're doing the exact same thing for AI. They don't touch the AI model. They don't try to fix the AI, they simply evaluate and price the variance, the drift, the risk surrounding it. Because of this hyper-focused approach, Data Driven declares there is one ruler, two markets. First, you have the insurance premium, which is for companies trying to protect themselves against an AI doing something totally unexpected. And second, you have the variant swap on AI drift, which creates an entirely new financial instrument where investors can essentially trade on the unpredictability of artificial intelligence. It's a truly stunning financialization of a computer science problem. Which naturally leads us into Section 3, meaning on the chip, how they actually monitor this drift.
So how do you actually monitor that drift without touching the model? The answer is perfectly captured in this exact phrase from their June 8th post. Semantic intent verified on chip. They have zero interest in software-level guardrails that can be easily bypassed or manipulated. No, they want the meaning, the intent, and the safety verification pushed all the way down to the physical silicon level. This is where that weird question, are you out of your pixel, finally comes full circle. They are literally trying to lock abstract meaning into physical hardware coordinates.
Let's quickly walk through exactly how they envision this working, based on these highly technical claims from their June posts. First, they introduce a concept called short rank, positioning it as the actual physical address that makes semantics run on silicon. They argue that traditional evaluation methods, what they call NCD, can never work on their own. Why? Because concepts are volumes, not points, and competence is a shape, not a score. Just think about that for a second. Stop grading your AI with a percentage score and start looking at the physical shape of where its logic landed on the actual hardware. It's an entirely new, wild paradigm for evaluating machine competence. All right, let's bring it all together in Section 4, the Theta-driven ecosystem, the commercial reality of all this theory. Just look at the sheer scale of what they're building here. This table categorizes just a fraction of the dozens of public URLs active on their site right now. They aren't just sitting around writing blog posts. Under enterprise tools, you've got a full CRM system and identity and access management tools. Under knowledge, there are books, deep analysis portals, and data rooms. Under simulators, they have environments like Tesseract and the PMU simulator. This chaotic web of URLs is hard proof that they are actively building a comprehensive, working commercial ecosystem to address the very risks they are defining.
Let's shine a quick spotlight on a few of these enterprise routes so we can see the practical application. Their CRM isn't just a standard database. It features AI sales roleplay and operates with a local-first architecture, which is very likely designed to mitigate cloud-based drift. Their IAM/FIM platform offers gap analysis and certification, literally giving companies a concrete way to prove they are managing their AI liability. And tools like Intent Guard, those are explicitly designed for liability protection. This is highly practical, enterprise-grade software born directly from those crazy complex theories on AI undecidability.
When you step back and look at the whole picture, you can really see the genius of their pipeline. Step 1. They use relentless thought leadership, like those 40 monthly blog posts, to clearly and loudly define the terrifying risk of AI drift. Step 2. They validate that knowledge through books, authorized papers, and intensive data rooms. And Step 3, once the market understands the risk, they provide the commercial execution. They hand you the exact tools, the CRM, the certifications, the simulators, required to protect yourself. They define the disease, and then they sell you the cure.
Now, why does this matter to you or your organization? Theta Driven put it incredibly bluntly in their June 11th post. The liability has your name on it. Think about it. If your enterprise deploys an AI agent and that agent drifts, say it drafts a terrible contract, makes a catastrophic trade, or triggers a hallucinated event, the legal and financial fallout doesn't land on some abstract mathematical void. No, it falls on the enterprise. It has your name on it. Theta Driven is building the infrastructure to help companies survive that impending reality.
I want to leave you with this final, incredibly powerful title from their June 6th post. Can you prove you'll be a good person in 5 seconds? It's a staggering question. In a world where AI agents are going to execute millions of decisions at the literal speed of silicon, philosophical alignment just isn't enough. When the moment comes, when the liability hits, you do not have time to debate ethics. You have seconds or milliseconds to prove your system behaved exactly as intended. Theta Driven says you can't guarantee the AI is purely good, but with the right coordinates, the right hardware verification, and the right insurance, you can survive its drift. It is a high-stakes reality, and it's happening right now. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep asking those tough questions.